So what's more difficult, trading the daytime racing or the evening racing? Because undoubtedly the two are very different. So that's a decent question. It's one that I've thought about a lot over time, and I've spent a lot of time talking about it at great length with other full-time traders. And the reason is, when I very first started out trading, I learned to trade the markets on the evenings, and then when I went full-time, I started to notice more and more there was a little bit of a difference between the two, some subtle changes, although depending on what you're doing, it can have a bigger impact on your overall results, understandably. So I think the first thing to say is it a case of one's harder than the other? I don't think so. They're just different opportunities, and so you need to adapt between the two and be very aware that they may express different characteristics. So in order to do that, you need to get an idea of what has actually changed. The first thing to say is, between daytime racing and evening racing, there's different quality racing, and there's different quality of people betting within the market. So you've got more amateurs betting in the evening, you've got more new traders, people learning, whereas on the daytime it's more well refined. The racing is generally of better quality. There are larger prize pots in terms of money for the racing, so you get different characteristics in the markets. Also, you have to think that, what are the general public doing, the betting public doing, whilst the racing is on? Because in the evening, people are doing different things in the daytime. Generally in the daytime, you've got a lot of people that are working, and they may have a flutter at certain points in the day. And then you've got people who bet of an evening recreationally, but further than that, even not even just the times of day, but days of the week, what people are doing. And I've said it before in previous clips, on a Friday night, in the last race at Dundalk, where it's like 9 o'clock in the evening, on the all-weather, it's not the best quality in the world anyway, what are people doing? Because a lot of people like to go out on Friday night, they like to have a beer, and that doesn't necessarily mean having a beer at the races. That means that they might have their attention elsewhere, and so the markets are likely to be less full, less volume going through the markets, and so it's logical to expect them to be more erratic and behave in a different way. As we know from many different clips before, the poorer the quality of the racing, the more erratic the behaviour, and so you have to adapt your trading style around the market and trade what you see rather than what you want to see. So that's a very important point to make. Personally, I'm prone to favouring those kind of market conditions. I like it where there's less information, and there's more chance for the prices to actually move a little, because where there's uncertainty, there is more chance of a price move. It goes without saying, it's quite easy to see. Also, when trading, there's kind of like one simple rule, and it's not just where can I find the best opportunity, where do I know the most about the market. Obviously those kind of things help, but where can you find the least competitive situation to trade? I've said it before, particularly when picking back to lay selections at the start of a race, but if you can pick a situation where there's an uncompetitive move within the market, and that's more likely to find itself in a situation such as the evening, where the markets do move a little bit more because there's less competition, there's less volume of money resisting price movement in the markets, then surely you can find an opportunity where the price is more likely to shift. And so it has different characteristics. So if you prefer markets moving a little bit more, you might want to look at the evening racing more. Whereas if you prefer them being very static, turning over a lot of volume, scalping out prices as they stay still and the volume passes through the market, then you might want to look more favourably on the daytime racing. So again, like I said, it's just a case of what do you prefer, and are you able personally to switch off from one method and switch on to another? Because a lot of people find it hard to sort of just flick a switch like that, transition from one style to another, but it's all about adapting to the situation. Typically, humans don't really like change. It's well documented everywhere. And so if you're fully aware of how you respond to market conditions and what you prefer to see and where your largest edge is, you can focus on those more favourable points, in the sense that there's less competition for you in the market. So, you can trade both, They're not necessarily one's harder or easier. It's a case of how do you like to trade? And that's my answer to that evening question there. So hopefully that's been of use.